Good afternoon. It must be around 1 o'clock. I think I'm pretty much on time today. And welcome to my daily little, what would you call it, a vlog maybe? It is a kind of a video blog journal of our journey we're taking together as we make history. You'll notice I have some new artwork in the back. That is a picture that Tristan made for me. And I love when he sends them, sometimes you look at a picture that a child did and you go, oh, what is that? But what I do is I say, can you tell me the story of the picture? That way he's telling me who's what and what's happening on there. And that was a cat boy with a lot of string, there was a lot of string that he was using to tie something up. It's a wonderful example of kids and their unlimited imagination. Speaking of imagination, however, I listen to a presentation like this every day with a person I like to follow, Elizabeth Cronus McLaughlin, and she said, has anybody had that feeling that if you get a sniffle or if you sneeze or if you feel funky, you go, it's the virus, it's the virus. And I think we tend to do that. I think that is a survival instinct. And don't forget, that's an emotion. It's not something we need to take as fact. It's something we look at and we think about. And speaking of which, I found this, it's funny how you just turn to a page. I keep this in a place where I sometimes spend a few moments that I am sitting with nothing to do. But this morning I just turned to this page and it said, she was assured that making the body happy was anything but hypochondria, which Webster defines as persistent anxiety about one's health and a morbid melancholy and depression of mind or spirits. Anybody been feeling that at all? Maybe. It's that in this approach to health, we feed our body good thoughts, good emotions, good food and drink. We exercise it, we rest it, we praise it, and appreciate it. There has to be an intelligence in our cells because they have such complicated and wonderful work to do. Scientists and metaphysicians alike all tell us this. Myrtle Fillmore discovered this for herself when she brought about her healing by addressing the life and intelligence that was in every part of her body. Instead of looking at any of the symptoms and focusing on the things that were manifesting in her life as tuberculosis, which she'd been told she had inherited, what she did is she focused instead on every cell. She blessed every cell, including the ones that were experiencing what we would call dis-ease. So, today is April 15th. We all know what that day is. It's tax day. Now, you may have your taxes done already, which is a good thing. Get them in, get them done. You may be waiting now that the extension has been made till July. But I want to talk a little bit about taxes and circulation. The only true prosperity is circulation. And it's a funny thing. We all look. How many times? What commercials do you see for tax assistants, whatever companies or accountants there are, and they go, we're gonna save you money, we're gonna look for loopholes, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, we're gonna get you as much back as you can. Well, on that note, I would like to invite you to have a paradigm shift. If you're not aware of what a paradigm shift is, that is when we take one way of thinking and all of a sudden we look at it and we see it from a whole new perspective. That's what I'm hoping to do with this. And for those of you who have churches you attend, I would like you to apply that also to the churches, to your church, as well as when you tax to the government. They're both the same thing. They are paying our share of our communal expenses, okay? You know, we want the roads, we want the signs, we want the support wherever we need it. We want the police departments, we want the army, we want everything. In a church, you want it warm in the winter and cool in the summer. You want it to be beautiful. You want to have a good, powerful, grounded, experienced, educated preacher. You want to be able to bring your friends there and be happy. That's your home, you know. And when you are a part of a state, of the government, even the whole United States, this is our home too. And we have responsibilities. If we can shift that feeling like, the government wants to take all our money, to we are doing our part. We're paying our part of the collective expenses. It's true in church. It's true in your government. It's true when it comes for taxes. And here's that mental shift we can make. Instead of feeling that we're a victim to this system or process of money grubbing people, we have to look at it as we are prospering because, remember I told the story yesterday about the two wolves, good and evil fighting within you. Which one will win? The one you feed. It's the same thing with our thoughts about our money. If we take, and I'm going to tell you something, if I had a nickel for every time I heard this, I would probably be wherever there's absolutely no coronavirus right now, because I would have gotten myself a ticket and gone there in advance. But what they always said, the church is always asking for money. Church is always asking for money. Well, the church is asking for money because it's got tippers, not tithers. And given the opportunity, would we all, without question, just pay our taxes? Instead of saying the government's wasting our money, blah, 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 blah. It's just a part of circulation of our good. And we don't give to receive, we give because we have received. If you can make that shift, and stop feeling like a victim and start feeling like a participant. Another interesting thing, whether it's the government, whether it's the church, because they're really only separate in our mind, They're all based on a format looking for the higher good of all, both. Just deal with that. Anyway, people will go to church and they will say, I think I'm going to look for another church because I'm just not getting anything out of this one. Well, chances are you're not getting anything out of it because you're not putting anything into it, okay? Now, what do I mean by that? Oh, yeah, you might be there every Sunday. You might put whatever you put in the basket. But when you really get to it, are you living it? As far as the government goes, we are a government that we proudly say is of, by, and for the people. Guess what? We are the people. Are we doing our part, or are we saying, let George do it, and then we sit and gripe about how George is doing it day and night? What else can we do? Become a participant. Get to know the people in your church, in the government. Get to know your representatives. They'll know your name, they'll know your face, and you can straight up ask them anything. I mean, that's what I think would help to change from feeling like a victim because you have to pay your taxes to feeling like, yes, I did my fair share. I did it well, I did it right, and I'm proud of myself. And that consciousness alone, you set up that shift of your thinking that will bless you with prosperity down the road. In the church, participate. In your local government, big government, participate. And sometimes, going into the voting booth and just voting really isn't anything if you don't know who you're really voting for or what you're really voting about. Anybody lives in California? That is the place. Let me tell you, I lived in California. we got a booklet every year, every 2 years, and it had the issues that were being voted on. It had the candidates, it had the pro and the con. It was put out by the League of Women Voters. Yo, women voters, yes. So participate in your church, participate in your government, participate in any club you belong to. Support that which supports you. It's like growing a garden, okay? When you put your seeds in and you water them, and what? You put fertilizer on it. When we put fertilizer into our soil, we are feeding those little seeds so they can grow up. Now, I could tell you gardening stories from the beginning when I grew a pepper about that big and a tomato about that big. And they were growing in sand, and I hardly gave them any fertilizer at all. So, it's hang in there, folks. It's what you fertilize what you want to grow. If you don't like something, don't fertilize it. If I go to a movie and I go in and I don't like that movie, I will come out, I will find another movie to try, and I will be sure I tell the management, I did not like that movie, and I watched another movie. So there, paid for a ticket, right? Paid for a ticket, watched a movie. We have more power than we give ourselves credit for. I hope during this period of time you learn to really engage your power. When we talk about, like problems and looking for we take our problems and turn them into projects. When we have non-participation, that leads to dissatisfaction. So before you complain about something, or before you go to someone and say, hey, I got a problem with this, you better be sure you have a suggestion, at least a suggestion for a potential solution. We all have the power to do it. I saw a picture, we have got a little local web page. It's called East Haddam Moodus Resident Information Sharing. It's a lot to even say. But there's great information in there, and there's also concerned citizens of East Haddam, where we can get a lot of local information. Well, someone had posted pictures of, from 2015 to to April of this year. No, till end of February this year. Anyway, and it was showing the pollution levels, which were very, very high. And then it showed it yesterday or the day before, and the change in the level of pollution, these pictures were from NASA, the change in the level of pollution was stunning. To think that the planet can begin to shift and positive change can happen in our climate that quickly is amazing. When we're done with our confinement, what are we going to do to assure that we balance our resources, our energy, our habits, so we can continue on a healthy path? Mother Earth is taking a breath, and whenever our source of food and fresh air and everything, whenever that is healthier, we are healthier. But just like the taxes, just like the tithing, we are participants. We have to decide to be a participant. So, just that, I'm going to switch topics now, because some people were talking about their children, either your grandchildren, your children, your nieces and nephews, teenagers that are getting really, number one, they're frightened and they're getting stressed out. Dear Lord, when I think back to my childhood, we have things to worry about. We got under our desks in case there was a bomb alert, like that little desk was going to help us. We had that sense of false security. But yes, there have always been difficult times, but our children have never grown up under such stress and pressure, whether it is the climate, the virus, the financial things. We've had such challenges. And a lot of kids are nervous and they don't know what to do with their parents. And a lot of kids feel restrained. Kids want to run and play and jump. And how do we deal with them? First of all, I would like to suggest that anyone that has children, I don't care if they're teenagers, little children, whatever, to the degree they are able to accept it, teach them how lucky they are. You know, I know. I'd go to my aunt's house, and if I didn't eat the crust of my bread, I'd be told to think about the starving children in Africa, and I always did think, fine, pack it up and send it to them. Maybe they will want it, which is not the right way to think about it. But we are so, I don't want to say the word spoiled, but I can't think. We are so accustomed to having what we want when we want it. We are accustomed to having free reign to do whatever. And when all of a sudden that changes, we get into a victim consciousness. I can't do anything. You're mean. I shouldn't have to stay in. I can't see my friends. I can't see my boyfriend. Whatever it is, we have to teach them how blessed and lucky they are. What if all of a sudden the doggone technology was all shut down? Uh-oh, no TV. Uh-oh, no phone. No selfies. What if all that went away? Oh my God, then it would even be worse. And it probably will be if that ever came to that. We're just coming out of hurricane season. You just get one thing and you're going into another. Our children have to know that people have had to go into hiding for years, that people have suffered from plagues, and they've suffered from genocide, and they've suffered and had to hide and be safe, and it's just the way life can be. Nobody's being picked on here. We are given an amazing opportunity to grow. That's what we need to do. We love our kids. We don't want to see our kids suffer. I have something from this book, is called Myrtle Fillmore, Mother of Unity. Hang on a minute. Tishy's coming out for her attention. I know you want to come join me. Look what I got. I got some food. Want some food? Here, come over here. Here, right there. And so much for Tishy. She'll get her stuff. Unity used to have a magazine specifically for children. It was called right here, baby, here, right there, get up and get it. It was called Wee Wisdom. And this is what Myrtle Fillmore said about the Wee Wisdom magazine. Wee Wisdom is not to entertain the children, but to call them out. To always be entertained is to be dwarfed and dependent. To be called out is to follow the harmonious law of the soul's unfoldment. Who meddles with the rosebud? What fingers are deft enough to pry open that marvel of folded beauty? We are wise enough to leave it alone to follow the glad law of its own unfolding. But our children, have we done wisely with these buds of marvelous possibilities? Have we always remembered that they too must quicken and unfold through the innate law of their own genius? You know, before we had all the technology and the amazing things that it's nice to have, we had storytellers. I'm a storyteller. I go around the campground and I read stories to the campers. And they get to create pictures in their minds of the stories that I am telling them. And the kids have got such genius. Even teenagers, especially if we take away the technology helps, okay? We have resources through technology that are amazing. But yet, within each one of the children, as in each one of us, there is this huge amount of genius. A college student, I don't know if you saw this online, a college student developed a mask. We all have to wear face masks. Well, this mask had a clear plastic panel in the front. Why? So deaf people who can't hear could read her lips. And, wonderful side effect, people could see a smile. Genius is everywhere, and we've got it. And the first paradigm shift we have to make, the first shift of seeing something in an entirely different way, is that we go from impossible to I'm possible. You are possible. I am possible. The most wonderful, amazing things that are possible will grow if we what? Fertilize them, water them, and don't see us as confined, but see us as seeds that are being softened and being ready to sprout out. Where does that happen? Underground. It happens when we're down and kind of locked in. Well, that's just about what I have to say. You know I could talk all day, but they were things I thought were really important that I was hoping you would take into your heart, to think about it, to be a part. We are here not to be A-P-A-R-T, but to be A-P-A-R-T of a wonderful world that we create together. Thank you for sharing your time with me. It was priceless to me. I hope it was good for you. And I will see you tomorrow. I think I'm going to tell you tomorrow about some powers you have that you may not know about. Don't forget, if you watch it on YouTube, be sure to subscribe so you won't miss anything. Have a great day, and God bless you good.